just to start off, like, just give me like your entire view on like mental health during the pandemic, because you see so many patients, and then like, like, what have your patients gone through, like something like that, like, like what have you seen which has become so common over the past year and a half?
Well, we're seeing exceeding amounts of people going through cabin fever, which is the claustrophobia induced as a result of being stuck in a single location for a protracted period of time, which means over a considerable amount of time, days, weeks, months, just being stuck at home. So, cabin fever typically manifests through irritability, uh, lack of sleep, uh, strange, mood fluctuations. Strange because everyone else living with you realizes that you've become a little more snappy or cantankerous, or that you're just a little more stringent in the way you speak. So some times that leads to a bit of a difficult situation at homes, because someone's increased tantrums may start affecting the rest of the household. So I'm seeing increased incidences of cabin fever. I'm seeing a lot of anxiety, a rise in cases of anxiety, because a lot of people have had to completely reorganize how they do business, how they get customers, how they roll out their services, how they, engage in any kind of product-based marketing endeavor. And WhatsApp, Instagram, YouTube are playing a huge role in bridging that gap. But unfortunately, a lot of people are not techno savvy. They've always shied away. They don't know how to use Zoom and Skype. So they feel they have such folks are feeling particularly hamstrung. They're not able to reorganize the way they do business. And that's leading to a lot of anxiety. I have many such cases where they're just like, I don't understand all this WhatsApp. I don't understand all this Zoom. And they're being resistant to technology and resistant to change. Another problem I'm seeing a rise of is people getting extremely bogged down due to overwork, because now commute time has been essentially eliminated. A lot of people in the corporate world, especially those in middle to high level management positions, are forcing their employees to attend more meetings, forcing their employees to engage in extra project work, forcing their employees to work for 6 days a week as opposed to getting the weekend off, forcing their employees to over deliver while still accepting pay cuts or stagnation of pay. So not only is there a lack of incentive, financial incentive for employees, but now there's the added emotional and peer pressure to do more work, which is leading to a very lopsided work-life balance situation for them. So there is an increase in cases of burnout. People just wanting to quit their jobs. People just wanting to, not answer their phones. Another trend I'm seeing is a lot of people are getting affected due to doom scrolling, which is basically using your thumb and scrolling and following the entire trend of bad news on Twitter and Instagram and getting emotionally affected every time a COVID update or statistic is thrown at them. Now suddenly everyone's talking about the black fungus, mucormycosis, or whatever it's being referred to. Suddenly everyone's like, oh my God, vaccine shortages, oxygen shortages. See, these are real problems, but as I said, these are not problems that one individual can, like Superman will come and fix everything. These are systemic problems, which means that they are interlinked to the way in which India has typically, done away with problematic situations. There is the bureaucracy, there is the question of competence. A lot of people, in positions of power are either uneducated when in connection with what they really need to do, right? Not uneducated as in they've never been to school, but uneducated when it comes to what special requirements are have to be made dynamic to assuage the situation. Those special requirements are what they're not educated about. This is why I'm saying they're uneducated. So this become a resource. India will, for many years, become a textbook resource mismanagement example. How we had the vaccines, but we gave them away. How we have the land mass, unlike Japan, which has a, or Singapore, which they don't have the land mass, but we don't have uh, vaccination centers, we don't have hospital beds. How we have the manufacturing facilities for oxygen, but we have not preempted this kind of issue. How we have the scientific expertise. So basically, what's happening is there is a sense of what's the word? Cynicism that is creeping in. This is the fourth problem I'm seeing, and that again comes because of doom scrolling and the increased access to news and the increased access to a lot of independent journalists, but a lot of people also masquerade as journalists, but they're just Twitter celebrities, and they're just ranting or they're just offering a perspective. So there's a lot of angst which is invited in by constantly exposing oneself to that kind of bleakness, that kind of uh, sort of frustration, which is, I think, palpable given the situation. So, and the fifth problem that I'm seeing is there is, I think, an increase in a lot of couples are also locking horns with each other because they are constantly in each other's faces. So they are not able to give each other enough space to be individuals. Everything has become a group activity. Everything has become like a project that has to be done together, whether it's household chores, whether it's now making more money in case medical requirements mount. So a lack of personal space being given, and you know, couples kind of like the roles are getting blurred between who is the breadwinner and who is the house manager, because everyone is doing everything. So this is also, and this is one of the good things actually, because I believe gender roles are very archaic. I think everyone should earn, everyone should work, do the house stuff as well, um, to create a balance. But even though I agree with it, a lot of people who come to me for therapy are still stuck in the old ways that I don't touch the kitchen because I'm a man, or she should not make more money than me because after all I'm the man. So a lot of these ideologies that are easy to ignore when you're going into your individual offices and going out of the house, these things sort of get diluted. But now, because you're constantly with each other, your opinions about life, your opinions about gender, your opinions about money, your opinions about how to be a good parent, your opinions about how to run a house are constantly being shared with each other. So, Pele, you could escape into your little holes and pretend you all don't even have those opinions because of limited exposure. But now, because of 100% exposure, there's a 100% chance that you cannot see eye to eye on a lot of issues, which is what's causing a lot of fights between couples.
Yeah.
So these
And
are the issues I'm seeing.
now, like you've told me about the issues that you're seeing, so what's your view on these issues? Like, how can like one combat it? Like, what you hear so many of these stories every day. So, like, on you yourself being like a therapist, has it ever like affected you in any way, or like especially because you've been home, you've not been doing like going out, you've not had like like what have your like outlets been, what have your views on like everything that's been going on, like from hearing all these people's stories and hearing about so many people's lives?
Well, for me, I've realized that I'm a lot more fortunate than a lot of other people. I don't need to leave my couch, forget leaving my house. I can get work done rather efficiently and effectively. See, it's unfortunate what's happening out there, but for me, I don't let that affect me beyond a point. There are some days where even I may feel a bit low about the way things have been, taking place in India. But I also understand that just because I don't approve of something doesn't mean it'll change. So if I can do something that helps galvanize things or that helps catalyze change, I think about what I can do. So, all right, what can I do? I keep myself physically healthy. What can I do? I'm always available for my clients. What can I do? I keep myself abreast of the latest developments in the news, in pop culture, in psychology, so I can be at my best. So it's very important for us, I think, as a society to understand that the individual responsibility of taking care of your emotional well-being, physical health, and mental health rests with you. No one else can do it for you. As far as passing the time is concerned, I read sometimes if I'm not in a mood to read. I'm a huge cinema buff. I watch movies. In fact, recently my friends been sending me movies from the 1970s, really old stuff. So I recently watched a Russian movie, which is considered a classic, which I had never seen. And I also I go down for long walks. Every day I today I went down for a pretty long time, and 1.5 hours I walked non-stop. In there. It was raining a little bit, and I try to record some vlogs when I walk, and I put them up on Instagram. So I try to be creative about it. So uh, I think it's importantly to keep yourself creatively occupied and connected with a few select people who really uplift you or who you share interests with. And well, it is what it is, right? The situation we can't magically make it disappear, but we can alter our expectations of the situation and take individual responsibility in a way that we are not careless with our own well-being. Take your well-being very, very seriously, because once you suffer, no one's going to come to save you. So that's what I believe. That's what I also practice.
And now the last question is like, what tips would you give people, like, who are like, sometimes it's really hard, I feel like, especially with people my age, to like navigate whether they're being in a tough spot because they don't know better, or because, like, or they don't know, like, oh, like, like going to like therapy is okay. So, like, what would you say about, like, like, what are tips? Like, how do you come to that realization that, okay, maybe like you can't figure this out by yourself, you need a little more help to like make you like process your emotions better, or like help you grow more when you feel like you're stagnating for like elder ages. But like, people of all age, this isn't something that's only affecting 30-year-olds or 10-year-olds, it's affecting a wide range. So what would you say, like, how do you determine whether you need, like, help, or when you're sinking, like, what would you say, like, to do to like help propel you forward?
See, it's entirely controllable the way you live your life and your days out. Is what I would like to tell people. So if you feel miserable, or if you feel anxious, or if you feel angry, or if you feel unfocused, or you feel confused, or you feel like you've been cheated by someone, whatever you feel, you need what is referred to as a sounding board. You need someone to sort of offer you a counter perspective that challenges your beliefs, or someone to question the validity of your beliefs and help you reorganize how you think about certain situations. And that person is a psychotherapist, someone like me. It doesn't have to be me. I'm sure there are others as well in the line of work that I've chosen, but it can be anyone. So it's a question of reaching out. You can't put a gun to someone's head and say, go for therapy. You need therapy. You will be fixed. You will be saved. Oh my goodness. You can't be that way, because people will then think that you are hard selling something to them. So people turn to therapy only once they have suffered adequately. So if they haven't yet turned to therapy, maybe they still have a little more suffering to go through. Also, sometimes families may not be supportive of the entire idea of therapy. They may say something tone deaf, like, no one's crazy in our house. Why should we go to a therapist? Only crazy people go to therapists. So, these are some archaic uh, beliefs about the process of therapy that we can't change overnight. But for what it's worth, there are a lot of people out there putting their thoughts and views and making valid arguments that support the cause of therapy. And there are an equally loud group of people who think that depression is a joke, and it's unfortunate, but there will always be two polarities whenever it comes to any topic or discussion. The way you have the Democrats and the Republicans in the US, or you have the BJP and the Congress, they will always lock horns, because that is just how humanity is. It is through this process of, pushing and butting each other that the new way may evolve, or the old way gets gargled and rinsed, and no one spits it out.
Yeah.
So these are wounds that have festered through the generations. It's up to us to break the chain of transmission by figuring out what we want for ourselves, really. So, I mean, it's every man and woman for himself and herself, really. But if you can help and make someone's life easier, go ahead and try. I mean, I think it's worthwhile to sort of rediscover your humanity at a time when it's needed so badly.